Hi, welcome to Crime Clueless. We're your hosts. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Krista.
Today, we're introducing the new series, Criminal's Perspective. In this series, we're going to break down the psychology of criminals, analyze their choices, and most importantly, roast their absolute worst decisions. Oh.
Yes, today we're going to talk about a very specific type of criminal, the hitman, or more accurately, the wannabe hitman.
That's right, because let's be honest, actual professional assassins probably not listening to this podcast. The people we're covering today, they're more like Craigslist freelancers who thought, yeah, murder seems easy.
Or my favorite people who are too lazy to commit a crime themselves, so they try to outsource it.
Right? Like the Uber for murder crowd. And what's wild is how often they fail before they even start. We're talking about people who Google how to hire a hitman, like the FBI isn't actively watching.
Dear Google, how much does it take to make my problems go away?
And if you think we're exaggerating, let's talk about rentahitman.com.
Oh, yes, the best thing on the internet.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, rentahitman.com is a satirical website. It was literally created as a joke, but it turns out people are so dumb that they actually submitted real hit requests.
And the guy running it, he just forwards everything straight to the cops. It's basically the world's most effective sting operation, and people still fall for it.
Like this one woman who filled out the service request form. Yes, it had a form asking for a hit on her ex-husband. And in the reason for request section, she literally wrote, "He's a huge problem and I need him gone."
Ma'am, this is not DoorDash.
Exactly. And the best part, when she got arrested, she actually argued that she thought it was legit. Like she was genuinely mad that her murder order wasn't getting fulfilled.
1 star, would not recommend.
So today we're diving into the psychology of hitmen, both the ones taking the jobs and the ones hiring them. What kind of person wakes up and decides this is the best life choice? Why do so many of them fail spectacularly? And how much do people actually think a hitman costs? Spoiler alert, it's cheaper than you might think, but somehow still not worth it.
We've got bad decision making, undercover cops, and enough plot twists to make a really bad Lifetime movie. Let's get into it.
All right, so let's start with the people who actually are taking these jobs. Because if you're picturing someone cold, calculated, like a James Bond villain, I've got some bad news for you.
Yeah, real life hitmen are not out here sipping martinis and wearing fancy suits. They're mostly that guy you went to high school with who peaked at 17 and still thinks Monster Energy is a personality trait.
Seriously, if you think a hitman is a mysterious, elite professional, let me introduce you to literally every case ever where they're caught because they told their bartender about it.
Or they hired another hitman to do it for them.
Oh, yeah, we are definitely talking about that later. Don't worry. But first, let's break down the different types of hitmen.
Ooh, a classification system. Hitman taxonomies. Love it.
Yes. So, based on real cases, hitmen tend to fall into a few categories. First up, we have the opportunist. This is the guy who wasn't planning to be a hitman, but someone asked and he thought, yeah, I could probably kill someone for money.
Probably is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Right? These are the dudes who take the job with zero qualifications, like no experience, no plan, all vibes.
You have a background in organized crime? No, but I have been kicked out of 3 Waffle Houses.
Exactly. And you know what always gets them caught? They talk. They always talk. These guys can't resist bragging to their girlfriend, their cousin, or even the guy in line at 7-Eleven.
I mean, if your entire criminal career can be unraveled by an undercover cop with a free beer, maybe murder for hire isn't for you.
Then we've got the quote unquote professionals, and I use that term very loosely.
Yes, loosely. These are the ones who think they're pros but still manage to Google best way to kill someone discreetly.
Yes, the ones who watch one documentary about the mafia and suddenly think they can pull off a flawless contract killing.
Or my favorite, the this is just a job hitman, the ones who treat contract killing like it's a freelance graphic design.
Right? Like, I'm not evil. I just see this as a business opportunity. Dude, you're literally assassinating people for like the price of a used Honda. And finally, my favorite category, the dumpster fire hitmen.
Oh, you mean the ones who fail immediately?
Immediately before they even get started, like the guy who lost his own burner phone at the crime scene,
Or the one who left a receipt?
right? Or, and this is real, a hitman who got hired to kill someone and instead took the money and then ran away to play video games.
I mean, honestly, respect. He saw an opportunity for a better life and he took it.
True. Or business ethics, but great survival instincts.
So if we had to sum it up, real hitmen, they're less Jason Bourne and more your sketchy neighbor who still sells weed, but not very well.
100%. And these are the people some poor fool is trusting to carry out a perfect crime. So now we know that most hitmen are not the cold, calculated professionals Hollywood makes them out to be. Let's now talk about why someone would even take this job in the first place.
Because it's not exactly a career path with great job security
Or health benefits.
or a retirement plan, unless you count serving 25 to life as retirement.
So, what kind of person actually decides, yeah, this seems like a solid career move? First up, we've got the desperate ones, the people who have run out of options and think, well, I could get a second job, or I could just kill a guy for cash.
Which is wild because actual murder for hire rates are way lower than people expect.
Oh, so much lower. I mean, some of these people are out here putting hits on folks for like $1,000 and a half used Applebee's gift card.
What kills me is some of them aren't even getting good money for it. Like if you're willing to risk life in prison, these get paid more than 2 weeks' paycheck at Starbucks.
Exactly. But the thing is, a lot of these guys aren't experienced criminals. They're just broke, reckless, and are very, very bad at planning. Next up, there are the overconfident ones. I watched a lot of crime documentaries, so I totally know what I'm doing crowd.
Also known as men who peaked in high school and have nothing to lose.
Yep, these are the guys who think I've seen Scarface, I got this. Meanwhile, they're out here getting caught because they use their real name in a murder for hire contract.
Yeah, pro tip, if your criminal plan involves typing any part of it into your phone, you're already failing.
Oh, the digital trail on some of these guys is just chef's kiss bad. How to kill someone in the search history. A text that says, hey man, you still down to do that thing? Like, do you think the FBI doesn't have Wi-Fi?
It's like the cops don't even have to investigate anymore. They just need to check iMessage.
Exactly. And finally, some people are just naturally bad at life choices. They're impulsive, they're reckless, and they wouldn't know a good plan if it smacked them in the face.
Right. These are the ones who make every mistake possible. They tell their friends, they go to the bar and brag about it, they pay a guy in a check with their own name on it.
Yeah, I'm never getting over that one.
I know, a check, like they were planning to deduct it on their taxes.
Murder expenses, line 32.
But seriously, so many of these people get caught because they just can't keep their mouth shut. They're out here confessing to their Uber driver.
Yeah, man, business is good. Just took out a guy last week. 5 stars?
Exactly. Look, if you have to crowdsource your crime plan, you deserve to get caught.
So, if we've learned anything, it's that real life hitmen are rarely criminal masterminds. Most are broke, overconfident, or just really bad at thinking ahead.
And yet, somehow, the people who hire them manage to be even dumber.
Okay, now that we've covered who takes these jobs and why, let's talk about something that blows my mind every single time. How much people think a hitman actually costs.
Oh, it's insane. Like when you picture a professional assassin, you think it's going to be expensive, right?
Right. Like if I'm imagining this Jason Bourne level assassin, I would think at least six figures.
Minimum.
And yeah, people are out here trying to hire hitmen for less than what I've ever paid for rent.
I swear half these murder for hire deals are happening with the price of a decent MacBook.
Seriously, we found actual cases where people tried to have someone killed for, get this, $500.
It's like two trips to Costco.
Exactly. Imagine walking up to a guy like, hey, I need you to eliminate someone. Here's a gas card and a $20 tip.
Right? You're trying to put a hit on someone with the kind of money that normally buys a PlayStation.
Yes. So let's break it down. What does murder for hire actually cost? Because believe it or not, there have been studies on this.
Yeah, shout out to actual researchers who have looked at real hitman cases and found that on average, a contract killing costs $15,000.
Which is honestly way less than I would have guessed.
Yeah, but still too much for some of these idiots because we've got people out here trying to get a hit done for $1,000.
Or my favorite, someone who offered to pay in installments.
Installments, like they're financing a couch.
Can you imagine? Hey man, I got $200 this week, but I'll get you the rest after tax season.
Bro, this is not a Klarna payment plan.
And you know what's extra funny? The cheaper the hitmen, the worse they are at the job.
Oh, 100%. Like the real professionals, we probably don't hear about them because they're smart enough not to get caught. But the budget hitmen, they're leaving evidence everywhere.
Right. If your hitman is only charging $1,000, odds are he doesn't even own gloves.
Or a plan.
Or basic common sense.
I mean, these guys are out here Googling how to do murder while on their own phone.
Or showing up in their own car with their own license plates.
Oh, and let's not forget the classic move, telling someone about it before it even happens.
Oh, yeah. The amount of hitmen who get caught before they even commit the crime because they just could not keep their mouths shut.
It's like, congratulations, you played yourself.
So, what have we learned? If you're hiring a hitman, you're either spending way too much money or not nearly enough.
And either way, you're definitely getting caught.
Because, spoiler alert, most hitmen are either undercover cops or idiots.
And either way, they're going to send you straight to prison.
Speaking of which, it's time to talk about the people who actually try to hire these guys because somehow they might be even dumber.
Oh, I cannot wait for this part.
So before we move on to the idiots trying to hire these hitmen, let's take a second to talk about how hitmen themselves see what they do. Because frankly, I find it fascinating.
Well, for sure. You've got everything from wannabe mobsters, delusional professionals, to guys who think they're doing customer service.
Perfect. First, we have the guys who treat murder for hire like it's just another gig economy job.
Right? These guys are out here acting like assassinations are on TaskRabbit.
I don't ask questions, I just get paid. Like, sir, this is not Uber Eats.
Exactly. And they see themselves as entrepreneurs, which somehow even more unhinged. Like they'll actually say things like, it's nothing personal, it's just business.
Dude, it is murder. That is personal.
But you really think they're out here providing a service like supply and demand, baby?
Yeah, and that logic falls apart when you realize the demand is mostly coming from undercover cops. Next, we have the ones who are way too into movies. These are the guys who think that they're living in John Wick.
Oh, they 100% have a leather jacket and way too many knives.
And they give themselves nicknames. The Reaper, the Shadow.
Bro, you live in Florida.
Right? But they love the fantasy of being this elite contract killer. They probably watch The Godfather at least once a week.
Oh, definitely. Meanwhile, in reality, they're out here getting caught because they texted their ex about it.
Or they show up to a crime scene with their face on security cameras.
But yes, the Reaper, now appearing in 4K HD police footage.
Exactly. Then we've got the hitmen who straight up think they're vigilantes.
Oh, the morality hitmen.
Yes, the ones who say, I only take jobs where the target deserves it.
Dude, you are not that man.
Right? Like, I only kill cheaters, drug dealers, and bad people. My guy, you are literally taking money to murder people.
And yet they still think they're doing some kind of public service, like I clean up the streets.
Yeah, well, now you're cleaning up trash on the side of a highway in an orange jumpsuit. Next, we have the guys who didn't even mean to become hitmen.
So the one bad decision led to another, guys.
Yep, maybe they started as muscle for someone. Maybe they were just trying to make some quick cash, and then suddenly they're in way too deep.
This was just going to be one job.
And now they're waking up at 3 a.m. like, I should have gotten a job at Home Depot.
Maybe I should have stuck with selling fake Jordans.
Exactly. They're the ones who probably could have had a normal life, but just kept making slightly worse choices.
And now they're on forensic files.
And finally, we have the ones who are just bad at this job. They really thought they could do this, but they are tragically incompetent.
Well, these are my favorite ones.
These are the ones who leave their wallet at the crime scene, invest to their bartender, and or get caught before they even do the job.
Or, and this is real, hire a hitman to do the hit for them.
The pyramid scheme of murder for hire.
Exactly. Hey, man, I can't do this, but you can. I'll give you 20%.
That actually happened. A guy in China accepted a hit, then hired another hitman to do it. And then that hitman hired another one.
Full-on chain of subcontractors.
And guess what? Nobody did the job. They just kept passing it down until the last guy is like, this is stupid, and ratted them all out.
The worst Ponzi scheme ever.
Totally. So to wrap it up, the way hitmen see themselves, some think they're businessmen, some think they're Hollywood assassins, some think they're heroes, and some are just terrible at life.
And yet they all have one thing in common.
They always get caught.
Because honestly, if you were really good at this job, we wouldn't even know about you.
Exactly. So now that we've talked about the hitmen themselves, and as we've established, they are not elite criminal masterminds like they think they are. We are diving into the people hiring them because somehow they might be even worse.
Oh, absolutely. If you're the type of person who tries to hire a hitman, you've already made two major mistakes. One, you're planning a crime that almost never works. And two, you are so dumb that you actually think hiring a random person to kill someone is a good idea.
And look, I get it. Sometimes people get desperate. Maybe they're mad at an ex. Maybe they're after an inheritance. Maybe they are just terrible with their problem-solving skills. But the sheer stupidity of these plans, it's unmatched.
And that's because of something really important. People are awful at picking hitmen.
Yes, you don't accidentally find a good one. And yet these people are out here looking for contract killers the way most of us look for a dog sitter.
Yeah, my cousin knows a guy.
My coworker said he knows people.
I saw a guy at the gas station who looked tough.
And my personal favorite, they literally ask undercover cops.
Every single time.
First up, we have the angry ex. These are the people who are going through a divorce or a nasty breakup and think, you know what will make this easier? Murder.
Right, because therapy was clearly too much effort.
Totally. And the reasons, they're petty. I mean, we've seen cases where people tried to hire a hitman because they didn't want to pay alimony.
You can just get a second job, or, hear me out, I could commit a federal crime.
And I love how they never think these things through. Like, cool, your spouse is gone. Now you're the number one suspect.
Yeah, because when someone in the middle of a divorce mysteriously disappears, police totally don't look at the ex first.
Right. The best part, half of them try to pay the hitman with life insurance money that they haven't even got yet.
Bro, maybe wait until the check clears.
Next, we have the greedy heirs, the ones who see an elderly relative as a walking ATM that just hasn't cashed out yet.
Well, yeah, these are the people who think, why wait for grandpa's will when I could just speed things up?
They literally could just be patient, but instead, they're out here offering $2,000 to some guy at a bar to take out their grandma.
And guess what? They always hire an undercover cop.
I swear, every time they approach the wrong person, they say way too much, and suddenly they're discussing the murder with someone wearing a wire.
Like, maybe don't finalize your murder budget in a McDonald's parking lot.
Oh, for sure. Next, we have the desperate business partner, the one who thinks if I just eliminate my partner, I get all the money.
These guys love to think they're being smart.
Oh, yeah. They're the ones who sit in their office, steeple their fingers together, and think, I've thought of a foolproof plan.
Spoiler, it's never foolproof.
They always get caught because they tell someone way too soon, like, hey, Bob, want to split 50-50? Also, how do you feel about murder?
And the friend is like, I'm going to go ahead and call the FBI now.
Good plan. And finally, we have the worst of the worst, the people who are so stupid, they literally try to find a hitman on the internet.
Yes, the rentahitman.com crowd.
Right. We mentioned this earlier, but it deserves its own section. There are real cases where people went online and literally Googled how to hire a hitman.
You know what else they Googled? How much does a hitman cost? How to make murder look like an accident? Can the FBI see my search history?
Buddy, I have terrible news for you.
And then my favorite, where they actually find a hitman on some sketchy website and it's an FBI sting operation.
I swear, it's so often. Imagine walking into a deal thinking you're going to hire a professional killer, and instead, you're basically just ordering your own arrest.
So let's summarize. Why do people who hire hitmen always get caught? 1, they tell the wrong person. 2, they trust a complete idiot. 3, they Google it like an absolute moron. Or 4, they try to pay with checks, Venmo, or gift cards.
Oh, yes. I forgot about the people who tried to Venmo a hitman.
$2,000 for landscaping services.
And the FBI is reading it like, interesting. What kind of landscaping job costs exactly the price of a hit?
In this economy?
So if we learned anything today, it's this. Hitmen, usually terrible at crime. The people hiring them, somehow even worse.
And the real professionals, the undercover cops pretending to be hitmen because they catch every single one of these idiots.
So if you're wondering, can I hire a hitman? The answer is no. The only person you'll probably be hiring is a police officer who would love to put you in handcuffs.
And honestly, if you're dumb enough to try, you probably deserve it.
Coming up next, we're going to break down some of the dumbest hitman fail stories ever recorded because, trust me, it only gets worse. A lot of these real-life hitman fails are so bad, they feel scripted.
These are the cases that make you think crime is not for everyone.
Crime is for no one, actually, but especially not these people.
Right. Because if you can't even make it past step 1 without ethically screwing up, maybe murder isn't your calling.
So we have to start with rentahitman.com because if there's ever been a more perfect example of human stupidity, I'm not sure if I've seen it.
Oh, same. This is literally a fake website that so many people have fallen for that it has its own Wikipedia page.
Let's break it down. Rentahitman.com was originally made as a joke, but then the guy running it started getting actual requests for murder.
And what did he do? He just started forwarding them to the police.
Genius, a built-in sting operation, and yet people still apply.
Yes, the one woman that literally wrote, my husband is causing me problems. I need him taken care of.
Ma'am, this is not Amazon Prime.
When she got arrested, she genuinely thought it was a real service.
Incredible. She wasn't even mad at herself. She was mad at the company for, quote unquote, setting her up.
Like, I was a loyal customer. This is false advertising.
All right. Next up, one of my favorite stories, the time a hitman tried to hire another hitman to do the job for him.
Well, this is legendary.
Yeah. So we mentioned it a little bit before. It happened in China. A guy hired a hitman, and that hitman, instead of doing the job, said, you know what? I don't feel like it. I'm just going to subcontract this out.
Like he delegated the murder.
Right? And it didn't stop there. The second hitman hired another hitman.
And that guy hired another one.
It went 5 levels deep.
Full on murder pyramid scheme.
And you know what happened? The 5th hitman looked at the situation, said it was stupid, and went to police.
Like, imagine thinking you're part of a serious crime syndicate only to realize you're just in a bad multi-level marketing scam.
Imagine getting arrested and having to explain that you were like 4 levels removed from the original crime.
The only crime ring where everyone passes the job down instead of doing it.
Yep. This next one is pretty embarrassing.
Well, I already know where this one's going.
So this guy wants his wife killed, but he didn't have the money up front. So he tried to pay his hitman in installments.
Like he was financing a couch.
Exactly. He literally said, I can do $100 a week. Is that cool?
Murder is not a layaway.
And surprise, surprise, the hitman was an undercover cop. So this guy was out here signing up for a murder payment plan with law enforcement.
The detective probably had to keep a straight face while writing it down. Client prefers the biweekly payment structure.
And I love that the guy actually thought the hitman would be that patient. Like, you think this man is murdering people on a budget?
I'll start the job after your third payment clears.
Right. Oh, this one is good. This is a hitman who left a receipt.
A receipt?
A full on paper trail. He literally wrote down his murder expenses.
He was going to expense it for tax season.
Right. And when police found the paper, it was labeled murder plan.
No, not even trying to disguise it. Not project or business expenses. The straight up murder plan in bold letters.
I swear, some of these guys get caught because they have the organizational skills of a middle schooler.
Hope he at least had bullet points.
Probably not. This one is classic. This guy got caught because he told his barber all about hiring a hitman.
Mid haircut?
Mid haircut.
Bro, that is way too much small talk.
Right? Like, so what's new? Oh, nothing. Just planning a murder. Did you fade that high enough?
Barber immediately called the cops, obviously.
Of course. Because if your client confesses to a felony, you finish that cut and then dial 911.
At least he finished it.
Oh, yeah, right? I hope you got tipped well.
Yes.
Next up, we have a classic, someone trying to hire a hitman who, of course, turned out to be an undercover cop.
The true tradition at this point.
So this happened in Texas. A woman wanted to get rid of her ex-husband and approached what she thought was a hitman. But guess what? He was literally a cop and he was wearing a wire.
The level of self-incrimination in these cases is just unmatched.
Absolutely. And it gets better. She didn't just say, I want my ex dead. No, she negotiated the price and haggled with him.
Well, like negotiating a discount?
Yep. She literally said, well, how much for just breaking his legs instead?
Ma'am, this is not a fast food menu.
She even offered to pay in jewelry instead of cash.
I don't have $5,000, but can I interest you in this Tiffany bracelet?
And naturally, the second she handed over anything as payment, the cops swarmed in and arrested her.
Of course. Okay, this next one is one of my personal favorites.
Oh, this one really gets me.
So this genius in Tennessee decides he wants his wife gone. He meets up with a totally not sketchy hitman and agrees on a price.
Now, normal people would, I don't know, pay in cash, maybe avoid leaving written evidence.
Not this guy. He writes the hitman a personal check.
With his real name on it.
Like, how do you think that's going to work? Don't worry. I'll just write landscaping in the memo line.
And I'm sorry, but imagine the confidence this man had walking into the bank thinking, yeah, I'll just send a little murder money through my checking account.
Of course, the hitman was, you guessed it, an undercover cop. And he got arrested immediately.
Checks bounce, my guy, but felony charges do not.
Right. This next one is just breathtakingly stupid.
Oh, boy.
So this guy tries to hire a hitman, right? But instead of paying in cash, he Venmo'd the guy.
No, absolutely not.
And the best part, his Venmo caption literally said, for the hit on victim's name.
Oh my gosh, stop it right now.
No joke. It was right there in his public Venmo history. At least make it private.
Oh my God. People are out here trying to be criminal masterminds, but still leaving public Venmo receipts like they're paying their roommate back for brunch.
And then he tried to claim it was a joke when he got caught.
Oh, yeah. Haha. Sorry, officer. I was kidding when I sent money to a fake hitman with an actual murder request in the memo line.
Luckily, the cops did not buy that excuse.
Weird. All right, one more before we move on, because this one might be one of my favorites.
All right, lay it on me.
A guy who hired a hitman and paid in advance. Then the hitman never did the job.
Oh, no.
So the guy goes back and asks for his money back.
No, stop it.
Literally, he tried to get a refund on murder.
Like it's a defective Amazon purchase?
Exactly. He was demanding his deposit back because apparently, if I don't get a corpse, I want my money back.
No, words fail me.
Oh, it gets so much better. Guess who he complained to?
No,
The police.
no.
He walked right into the station like, hey, I got scammed. I paid for a murder and I didn't get one.
Oh, sir, I need you to take a seat.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, they're so good. And there's so many too.
So bad.
Oh, if we've learned anything today, it's that most hitmen are terrible at their job. Most people who hire them are even dumber. Undercover cops have to be exhausted from catching these idiots. If you hire hitmen, you're going to jail. If you try to pay with a check or Venmo or jewelry, you're going to jail. And if you try to get a refund on murder, you're going to jail and you're an idiot.
And if you think you're going to get away with hiring a hitman, just remember there is a 99% chance the guy you're talking to is an undercover cop.
And the other 1%, they're going to subcontract your job until someone calls police.
Exactly.
All right, coming up next, the most ridiculous not guilty defenses in criminal history because some of these people try so hard to talk their way out of it and they just fail miserably.
I can't wait.
Yeah, some of these people are fully committed to gaslighting their way out of a life sentence.
Oh, and the excuses, gold, pure comedy gold.
You would think that after getting caught red-handed, people would just take the L, but nope, they always try to talk their way out of it, and it is really never convincing.
All right, so first up, we have the I was just joking, the classic defense.
Oh yeah, you get caught trying to hire someone for murder, and suddenly it was just a joke.
Right, because nothing says hilarious prank like felony conspiracy to commit homicide.
Yeah, there was this guy in Florida, and sorry, but of course it was Florida, who tried to hire a hitman. And when he got arrested, he was like, wait, you guys thought I was serious?
Sir, you handed over a down payment.
You literally negotiated terms and payment plans. That is not how a joke works.
Oh, haha, I paid a guy to kill my business partner just for laughs. Classic me.
And somehow, this defense, oh, it's been used more than once.
Well, of course. If I had $1 for every hitman hirer who tried the just kidding defense, I could probably afford a real hitman.
Okay, but don't.
No.
The next one is I was just doing research for a book. It's ridiculous.
Oh, please tell me someone actually tried this.
No, not only did someone try it, it was an English teacher.
No, stop.
I swear, this woman was caught asking her students how they would hypothetically murder someone without getting caught.
For students? What?
Yeah. So naturally, someone reported her. And when the cops investigated, they found Google searches for how to hire a hitman on her work computer.
Of course they did.
And when she got arrested, she told them, no, I was just doing research for a novel I'm writing.
Oh, of course, because normal authors always conduct their research by actively trying to hire a contract killer.
Like Lady Stephen King manages to write about murder just fine without calling it a hit.
Yes. All right. So our next one is the I was trapped in a sting operation or the I was set up defense.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't my fault. The police tricked me into hiring a hitman excuse.
The police didn't force you to hand over a stack of cash and say, make sure they disappear.
But so many people tried this one. There was a guy in Louisiana who got caught after literally handing an undercover cop his target's home address, work schedule, and giving him a down payment.
Sounds like he set himself up there.
Right. But in court, his defense was, I was entrapped. They pressured me into doing this.
Yes, because nothing screams coercion like going to multiple meetings, negotiating a price, and paying for the job in cash.
And the jury did not buy it. Shocking. I know.
So shocking. Right. So our next one is I didn't mean it that way. And I love this one. This is where they try to claim that when they said, I want this person dead, they actually meant something else.
Oh, totally. This happened in a case where a guy literally gave a hitman a gun. But in court, he swore that when he said take care of him, he actually meant scare him a little.
Oh, sure. That's totally a normal way to say that.
I know, right? And the prosecution was like, then why did you pay him $10,000?
I was just being generous.
Nope. The jury was so not convinced.
All right. Number 5 is I was high and didn't know what I was saying. It doesn't count. I was on drugs excuse.
Oh, yeah. This defense has been used so many times. My favorite was a woman in New Mexico who was caught trying to hire a hitman at a bar because, of course, she was drunk.
Classic.
And when she got arrested, she told police she had been drinking and was just talking nonsense.
Except for the part where she handed over a wad of cash and a picture of her ex-husband.
Oops, I accidentally committed a felony after 3 margaritas.
This is why we say drink responsibly.
Yeah, exactly. So if we learned anything today, it's that when people get caught trying to hire a hitman, their defenses are just as bad as their plans.
Terrible crimes, even worse excuses.
Yeah. So let's do a quick recap of the worst defenses ever used in a hitman trial. It was just a joke.
And why did you pay?
I was writing a book.
Since when do novelists actually hire assassins?
The cops tricked me.
They're letting you incriminate yourself?
I didn't mean it like that.
Why did you hand them a gun?
I was too high or too drunk to know what I was saying.
Yet somehow you still provided a home address. These people deserve life in prison just for being this bad at a crime.
Absolutely. A very important public service announcement. If you're thinking about hiring a hitman, maybe just don't. Because if you try, you're definitely going to prison.
And honestly, you deserve it. Not just because murder is wrong, but because you clearly suck at crime.
Right. So let's do a quick recap of these life lessons.
So, lesson 1, hitmen are almost never real. If you think you found a professional killer, odds are you just hired a cop or a moron.
Exactly. Lesson 2, if you pay for murder with a check or Venmo or jewelry, you are definitely an idiot. Nothing says I have no brain cells like leaving a paper trail on your felony.
Lesson 3, if you try to get a refund on a hit, you have officially failed at life. Imagine walking into a police station like, I'd like to report a scam. My hitman just didn't follow through.
Lesson 4, your not guilty defense will be terrible because you were terrible at planning. It was a joke. I was doing research. I was tricked. They all have a 0% success rate.
Exactly. And finally, lesson 5, if you need to Google how to hire a hitman, maybe just get therapy instead. Murder is a lot harder than people think. Talking to therapists, way easier.
Yeah. Look, we love a good true crime story, but we do not love stupidity. So please, if you take away one thing from today's episode,
never, ever trust a hitman.
Because if you're dumb enough to try to hire one,
the only thing you're really paying for
is your own arrest.
Thanks for listening to Criminal's Perspective. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and tell your friends, preferably the ones not searching for contract killers on Google.
And remember, crime does not pay.
But bad criminals sure do make great podcast material.
We hope you enjoyed our new series, our Criminal's Perspective series. We've got a lot of great episodes coming up in this series with Krista and I. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love if you would share it or rate and review. If you get a minute, we'd love if you would follow us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, etc. Just search for @Crime Clueless. If you want to send us an email, our email is crimeclueless@gmail.com. If you want to find any of the resources that we used in today's episode, you can find it linked on our website, crimeclueless.com, under the contributors section. And as always, remember, refuse to be clueless, careless, or caught off guard.
Not today, murders.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.